Wagoneers, to another exciting episode of the Wasted Wagons podcast. We have with us today the original crew, and I guess I'm including Biff in the original crew now because he has been, on here pretty darn consistent lately. So it's the original five of Biff.
And if you're wondering on our logo which one Biff is, it's the horse.
It's the horse. Mike is riding me.
Well, where we can get started today, Wagoneers, is we have a lot going on in our home city of New Orleans area. It's festival season. Has anybody made it out to any of the festivals? I know we had French Quarter Fest last weekend or 2 weekends ago, and we have Jazz Fest going on right now. I know that's a pretty big one, around the city, and really brings in a lot of people from other states come in town to enjoy it. Does anybody have any light that they would like to share on Jazz Fest? Has anybody gone this season?
I haven't gone this season, but I've been before many a times, and it's always a fun type thing. I like going for the food and the music,
right?
But no, I mean they usually have really good shows. The price has kind of creeped up through the years.
Definitely,
That is
That's
one of those,
It's a fucking
one of those things that is
Warren Rocky.
I think it's about $100 a day now, give or take.
One of my best memories from high school was us going and seeing Better Than Ever. Didn't we all go?
But the acts nowadays are kind of.
I went to see Cowboy Mouth.
I swore we saw Better Than Ever too. Anyway.
I'm not a big Jazz Fest person in terms of I don't like to deal with the crowd sometimes and a couple other things here and there, but I think it's worth it for the money, especially if you go all day, because you might get one big headlining act in the afternoon or evening,
right.
But there's usually enough good either local or semi-popular acts or bands, performers during the midday, so you get your money's worth to a degree, I guess. If you go do an all day,
there's 12 different stages with music on it.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's
One of the gospel tent's always fun. Just experience that, and it's cool. It's shade.
Do you like the gospel?
I do like the gospel.
That's awesome.
What is that? What?
No, I'm learning new things about it.
What they think?
Top 5 gospels. Wait, there's only 4.
Not true, actually.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Oh, you mean never
And
mind.
Austin 3:16. Right?
Oh, number 1 on my list.
That's not a big.
No, it's cool.
I've only been to Jazz Fest twice in my life, and it was both times were in high school. Back then, the tickets were $25 per day.
25.
Yeah, it was $25 a night or $100. So it just when you say the price is kind of just crept up, I mean, it seems like an astronomical jump,
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I remember going and having a good time because the first year we went, we saw a Dave Matthews Band and Cowboy Mouth. The very next year we saw Cowboy Mouth. The crowds were a little bit too much. I don't remember.
The crowds are always too much.
I remember leaving there was kind of a pain in the ass, and of course back then you didn't have Ubers. I remember we had to wait for my dad to come pick us up, and he was pissed off. In traffic. I think the most memorable moment I actually had, it was our second year when we saw Cowboy Mouth alone. It was me, Travis, and Mark. And Steve Gleason walks in front of us, and he's carrying a case of Nola Light over his shoulder. And it's funny because
wheelchair.
I don't really get. I mean, he was. If you remember when he played, he was fucking jacked. So he's this big old jacked up dude carrying.
I know he was jacked.
A case of Nola Light over his shoulder.
I think the last time I went was maybe not Dave Matt. When did Dave Matthews last play here?
He played recently.
Yeah, so not a couple years ago. The time before that, it's probably the last time. So I'm thinking probably 2012, 2013, something like that. And I think I only went because I got a free ticket, maybe.
Yeah, right.
But Jazz Fest is fine. Maybe not all of my favorite music, but there's usually an artist here or there that I'll like. And before the ticket prices went through the roof, I probably would have gone there. But
I have a funny Jazz Fest story. I was with my mom, and my dad's like, "Yeah, y'all go check out Jimmy Cliff. He's really good." And we never heard of who the heck Jimmy Cliff is. He's like a reggae artist or something, and he's singing all this Save Our Planet Earth stuff. There was so much pot smoke and BO. We couldn't even breathe. And my mom's like, "We're getting out of here, so I'm getting a contact high." She like, we like walk down.
You want to go around the table and what's your best act that you saw at Jazz Fest?
Yeah. Y'all can start.
Dave Matthews, because I've probably only been twice, and I think he was the headliner for both of them.
Mine was Pickles.
Oh yeah,
Mike's
your twin,
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide.
Kulo!
He was at Jazz Fest.
Yeah, and that was an amazing show for an hour.
Dale.
Yeah.
I didn't really get to speak my part, but it doesn't really differ much from Todd's. Dave Matthews was obviously the best act I've seen there, and it was largely we decided to go back a second year because of the experience we had that year. It was one of those things where we set up at Cowboy Mouth, went on stage right before Dave Matthews, so you were able to just kind of set some chairs up and stay in that area for pretty much all day. Then the next year we went back and we wasn't as many big acts playing. We did catch Cowboy Mouth again, but it was very hot, very crowded, and that ended up kind of being like the turnoff. But yeah, just and I haven't been back since, and that was probably back in like 2001, something like that. So yeah, but I'll jump on what Patrick said. Dave Matthews was probably the biggest and best act I've seen at Jazz Fest.
Man, again, I've only been 2 years, and we basically saw two bands those 2 years, and it was Cowboy Mouth and Dave Matthews Band. And Dave Matthews Band was, obviously put on a better show than Cowboy Mouth.
And it was one. I think I had already had. I had already had the Under the Table and Dreaming album at that point, but that was when I first started, like noticing some of the songs that weren't the big hits. He played those at Jazz Fest, and I was like, "Oh, that's a pretty damn awesome song," and realized it was actually on the CD I had. So we ended up coming back and going home and listening to it. That was really the first time I had heard Jimmy thing, and that ended up I think Jimmy thing ended up becoming my favorite Dave Matthews song after watching him play it live at Jazz Fest.
Top 5 Dave Matthews songs coming to a pod near you.
That could work.
I could do that.
I could run with that.
Shonsky?
I have never been to Jazz Fest.
No.
Sean.
I've been to French Quarter Fest enough, and I felt like that was overpriced. But then they have to get their money back somehow. So
yeah, and look, that's another thing.
$14 Bloody Marys that are watered down. It's like
that y'all.
Well, it's free.
Not the $14 Bloody Marys.
Well, yeah.
Don't mean to sound like the broken record here, but that is another big turn off from it's like $25-30 back in the day, and now it's $75 to $100, something like that. So prices definitely escalated a lot in the last 20 years.
So then it's still $11 Bloody Marys. After pay $100 to get in.
That's good.
I think you can still. I think the Yakami lady is still at Jazz Fest.
I heard the Yakuman lady has a place now.
I've heard that as well. We can probably.
I am so willing to go.
Miss Linda.
Yes.
Mike, I will absolutely go with you.
Let's make it.
Fuck yeah.
I'll say
let's
mine.
make it big.
Oh wait, so this is just the y'all thing? This isn't the rest of the podcast?
No one else is invited. No one else is invited.
If you got enough,
bring your dog?
If you got enough melanin to go get some Yakami, then yeah, let's do it.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
I'm going to say mine. Mine was Kid Rock. He rocked it, man.
Kid Rock, yeah.
He was doing his mix of like the old stuff and the new stuff and dancers and stuff.
How long ago was he there?
This was a while back.
Oh, okay.
But like it was years ago.
Kid Rock's bar in Nashville was probably the favorite one we went to when we were there.
That guy knows how to party.
We got snowed in over there. There wasn't really much else to do, but their version of Bourbon Street, the honky tonk highway was open.
The clean version of Bourbon Street.
He was at Gonzalez not that long ago. With
Kid Rock?
Jason Aldean.
Yeah.
Country artist, right?
There was a picture that I saw with his shirt off. He looked ripped.
No, I'm not talking about like his physique. I'm just saying like his gigs.
Yeah.
I don't know about his.
There is that.
I had half of mine to say something controversial about the crawfish bread at Jazz Fest, but it probably is really good. It might be overpriced, but I was going to say it kind of sucks relative to the cost. But I don't want to get anybody mad at me who might be listening. But like, I think it's
pretty generic, personally. My mom makes better crawfish bread.
I give it 2 hearts. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's good. It's good. It's not God.
It's not God.
It's not good.
you know.
But yeah, like you're saying, like.
Patty, crumpet.
Todd and I ate again. This is one of my mom's late birthday gifts. Again, we took Carson to Ground Patty. It's his favorite burger place.
Oh, it's his favorite.
And
My second favorite.
and Todd and I got burgers of it. I got the mushroom Swiss, and it was not dry at all. And then I think Mike went back the next day.
Mike went.
And his wife gave ground patty an 8 out of 10.
I was there recently, again, and I got the chicken sandwich, which was amazing. It was good. It was God.
That was God.
I don't know about God, but it was good.
Good enough.
It was good. But no, it wasn't bad. But my wife, she rated, like Travis said,
I feel like her rating didn't match her initial reaction to it.
No.
Like she was like, "It's kind of whatever. I'll give it an 8." I'm like,
well,
it's like,
Dude,
well, you act a little, you act a
5
little,
or 6, 4
you act a little
I'll
strange.
give it as she's glancing off camera. I'll give it an 8. Yes, an 8. Yeah.
There's a camera recording.
Right, true.
You act a little funny.
When the mic's hot, some things get said that maybe they
said.
shouldn't. Or shouldn't.
Like last episode.
But yeah, it's festival season right now. But like, it's a busy weekend. Like we have the Zurich just ended today. I've worked it the last couple of days and did a midday shift during the week here and there. But that was fun. That's always it's like, what else do we have going on? Well, the Pels about to get bounced out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So they played yesterday. The Zurich was this weekend. Jazz Fest week 1 is almost over. French Quarter Fest was 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so we're like full into like the start of like big festival season. So which, as long as it's not too hot outside, they're okay. There's a lot of stuff to do.
Greek Fest, which we often frequent, is like the tail end of festival season.
Yeah,
Well, like it's hot.
I kind of like Greek.
I like Greek Fest.
Fest.
I like it. I'm not
asked.
That's where I met a certain someone. But Greek Fest is God.
I'm not dogging Greek Fest.
Greek
I'm just
Fest,
saying tail end of the season.
Like if you posted,
Saying where it lives in the season, right?
If you posted on Facebook that you were at Greek Fest, how many hearts does it get?
Like 3, 4.
God.
I think Greek Fest might be my favorite or second favorite festival in New Orleans.
Oktoberfest is number 1.
Okay, maybe number 3 now. I don't know why I forgot about that all of a sudden.
Oktoberfest is number 1.
Oktoberfest number 1, probably Greek Fest 2. I got to figure out what I'm going to do at Po' Boy Fest because I loved it before it got bigger and bigger and more crowded.
Yeah.
But
Seems to be
I don't get why Po' Boy Fest is one day because then the street is like elbow to elbow.
yeah,
It's like if it was the whole weekend, it would be spread out.
Yeah, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And then it's like one day, and then they're running out of food by like mid-afternoon.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
but man, if you get the chance to get the soft shell crab po' boy from Ninja, it makes a lot of the other stuff worth it. But top five fest is for another day.
So going back to the Zurich, they had good scenery there, from what I hear.
How was the talent?
What was the things that you saw there that you liked?
There was a lot to take in.
The terrain was very hilly.
Yes, very and very green, and the grass was cut pretty low, so it was fast play.
Oh yeah,
A lot of
fairway, not a lot of rough.
Fairway.
I'll tell you this: the weather was so nice, so it was actually a good time to go outside. It was hot, but not like oppressive, like sweating all day hot. But you needed to find shade here and there. There was a breeze, and that helped a lot. Now, the ladies who decided to wear their sundress, some of them did it right and wore like a skirt or that has like a pants lining in it or something like that. Some ladies just didn't care, and I saw at least 3 bare bottoms and probably another 4 or 5 thong and / underwear bottoms on people as just like the breeze caught their dress and just took it up. So your question about the scenery and the talent, A+. The golf itself, also A+.
Rory was in town.
Rory played. They ended up winning.
They won. They ended up winning.
Yeah, he was trailing.
I was watching.
I caught him today on 16, and he was so they played an alternate shot. So he teed off on 16, put it in the bunker. Lowry got him out, and I think they ended up maybe parring the hole to save it. And then Rory birdied 17, which is a really, really tough hole. Or something like that. Rory hit a birdie to help them get tied up again. Then they went to playoffs, and I think they won in playoffs. I think maybe like their first or second hole.
Yeah.
But that's a good draw to like. You start to see more like really good golfers come and play this, and maybe like a big cluster, but bigger names start to show.
Rory's the big name. I mean, like
he was the big draw, but you also had Colin Morikawa, who's won a major as well. So like there were big names kind of scattered all over. So like, and the crowd was nice, the weather was nice. So the event did very, very well. I know for what we sold at drink stations, we also did well. So it was a good weekend for that. I'm dead ass tired from working it, but it was a good time though.
Yeah, for sure. I used to work it a long time ago, and what I remember from that is like the snippety people, like just hoity-toity, like you gotta walk on eggshells with everybody. Everybody's a big name, like they cater so much to these people. But whatever, man. I guess if you're good at something,
the atmosphere around golf has definitely changed over, say, the last 5, 6, 7 years. You see a lot of people not having their shirt tucked in, wearing like bright, loud colors. So it's not that stiff old golf that like in like the Arnold Palmer days or like the 80s and early 90s. Like players are a bit more expressive and like they just kind of like they wear brighter colors, things like that. The fans get a little bit more rowdy. If you go now, the Waste Management Open in Arizona is a completely different kind of thing. If you've ever seen video from that, it is a huge party. And like they're doing like beer chugs in the crowd, stuff like that.
The Happy Gilmore fans.
Sort of like that, yeah. Now it got so bad to the point this year they had to like stop. They cut alcohol sales on I think either the second to last day or the last day because the crowd was getting way too rowdy.
In California?
No, in Arizona. But it was a wild event. Just Google the Waste Management Open, and you'll see. But yeah, like the crowd was very laid back, and the only time they really got on you was when a golfer was about to hit, which that's the general respect thing. But other than that, you can chirp a little bit or say something to the golfer, and it's usually okay.
So the one in Arizona, is that like the Savannah Bananas golf?
No, it's just if we had a golf tournament, it would be wild like that, like beer everywhere. Doing chuggies and stuff like that. It's just like a big party.
Bunch of BFFs.
Yeah, but the golf's really good though.
And I've never been to Zurich. I'm not a humongous golf fan, but I would probably like to go once just to kind of see what it's about.
I'll get you in next year.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
If the wagons want to go, I'll get you into the.
Do we have to dress like we play golf though?
No.
I was going to say, is there a proportion of the snootiness based on the length of shorts? Like the higher up they be, the more douchebaggy they are.
There a lot of the people I saw with like their short shorts on looked a little douchey.
Do we need a Callaway golf hat?
No.
Those shorts.
But we've referenced like Tipsy Elves, like in that clothing company, and like there was a bunch of dudes I saw wearing like the hot dog button down shirt and just sort of like that.
Yeah, Todd and I, shout out to the Roosevelts. Todd and I love the Roosevelt shirt.
The Roosevelts too. But like you had people dressed like me in like slim kind of fit shorts, polos or t-shirts. The etiquette, I guess, like tucking your shirt in is gone, so dudes were just doing whatever. There were a lot of women that thought this was like a fucking fashion show, and they weren't really dressed for comfort. They looked like they were dressed to try to acquire and also show off. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like
Kentucky Derby-ish?
Like the races at the fairgrounds, Not goofy hats, but like dresses and shit.
Yeah, something like that.
It's like high class lot lizards.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of like Travis said though, I'm not that big of a golf fan. I think overall it's kind of a boring sport.
We want to all go.
But I wouldn't mind going at least just once. But I mean, based off the pictures I've seen on Facebook, and you can kind of vouch for this, Patrick. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of nozzly people there. I mean,
they're also nozzles. Yes.
Some nozzles.
There are some nozzles, yeah.
The douchebaggeries.
Now I have I'm sorry. When we're done with it. No, I thought I saw Ricky Stenicki this weekend. I just thought of this because I was like, I saw Travis and I was thinking
He was at the Zurich Classic. No.
yeah, Ricky Stenicki was there. He was golfing. I didn't see him, but I saw the movie and like it was legit. Like I have to say, like I was like when you described it, it sounded like the dumbest fucking movie.
So
And no, you could finish. No. You could finish.
I just totally interrupted.
Something just came in Mike's head.
It did.
Can I finish?
So I was about to watch Ricky Stenicki on Prime,
But you decided to watch.
but I decided to watch Fallout instead.
The Fallout's
And I was so happy I went there.
Dude, Fallout's fucking awesome.
Ricky Stenicki's funny.
Don't knock
like
Ricky
Cena-
Stenicki, too,
Cena
because
does-
I am not a Cena fan.
I give Cena credit for like being not only like comedic, but like he acted well in that too.
Yeah.
Like he played like a deadbeat weirdo actor really well, and like the writing was actually pretty clever.
But did you kind of get the same sense I did? Like once the bris ended, like the movie could have ended. Like
Right.
when he got hired at the company, I felt like it was just a
Yeah,
little
it
overkill.
was well, yeah, but like they were trying to do the whole thing, like don't lie, and like it comes back to bite you, and all that kind of stuff. Like no, but I have to say, like it was definitely refreshing, and like I better than I thought it was gonna be. Like my brother put it on, he's like, "Here, let's watch this." I was like, Travis already told me it sounded bad, and then he's like, "No, it's funny, you'll like it." And then I really liked the redheaded guy.
Yeah.
He was really funny.
He's a stand-up comic.
Yeah, I know he does the podcast with Bobby Lee and stuff, and like I've seen him on that. That's the only place I've seen him. But like he was really witty and funny, and Zac Efron looks like shit, man. I was like, God, he looks old. I was like, I mean, looks like he's doing
It was probably all the voice.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like his face is changing, his jaw is getting bigger and stuff. I'm like, Zac Efron.
Well, when he was in the Iron Claw, the dude was ridiculously jacked. It's like Morante used to say, he had the six-pack with the gut.
But I have to
so much juice.
give
He
you
was like,
props, Travis. You were right. So
good
give
movie.
you props.
Outside of Todd and I can pick up on this. Patrick just left the room for a second. Outside of festival season and outside of the Zurich, we actually, and it seems like they're kind of doing these more often. Obviously, we have the big Comicon at the beginning of the year, always the first weekend in January. Was that one called again?
St. Tammany?
No, the one the big one.
Oh, not Wizard World. Fan Expo.
It's called Fan Expo. So Fan Expo always comes first weekend of January, but they have a smaller one that they've been doing out in the Castine Center out in Mandeville, and it's called the St. Tammany Comicon, and it seems like they're doing them twice a year now. They just had one last weekend, and then they usually bring it back again, like sometime in October, November, sometime in that time frame. And Todd and I had a really pleasurable experience at this one. If you're a fan of the show, well, first off, Sergeant Slaughter was there. Todd and I didn't meet him. I don't know how much it was to meet him and get his autograph. But if you're a fan of the show Comic Book Man, Ming Chen, one of the guys that works at the Secret Stash, Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, was there doing meet and greets. Todd may pen another love letter to him because he and Todd went off on this 20-minute conversation about the Baltimore Orioles. And it was just I'm just kind of standing there with my thumb in my ass. The boys are waiting to take a picture with him. We're waiting to get autographs, and him and Todd are off in a corner talking about the Baltimore Orioles. So
That's pretty cool.
Well, the first thing that he saw Travis was wearing a Lost Boys shirt with David holding the noodles up like the Shoney's Big Boy. So Ming compliments Travis on his shirt. He said, "I really like your
that shirt was T-Public, by the way. T-Public, we love you. We're giving you plenty of shout-outs. T-Public, if you're listening. If you've never gotten a shirt from T-Public,
gift card.
go do yourself.
It's a $40 gift card.
go do yourself a favor. Take a look at T-Public. You'll find something to like on there. But yes, the shirt I had on was it was like a montage of the Shoney's Big Boy restaurant, or Bob's Big Boy, whatever you want to call it, with Kiefer Sutherland's character David from Lost Boys. But he really liked that. That drew him in. But then he saw Todd's Baltimore Orioles hat.
Well, I remember I wore that hat specifically because I remember him saying on the show that if he ever got a tattoo, he would get the Baltimore Orioles cartoon logo tattoo. and that's actually the one I have, and it's my favorite logo in professional sports. Pretty much the whole reason why I became an Orioles fan as a kid. So he sees my hat, and I've got the hat with that logo on it. So he starts talking to me about the Orioles this year, and how they're looking so far, and the injuries to Kyle Bradish and John Means. And yeah, like Travis said, it was like a 20-minute conversation. Normally these dudes are kind of like eager to kind of shoo you along. But great dude, man. Great dude, just kind of standing there talking to people, and really, really genuine person that's just interested in hearing not only about, I guess, your love for comics, but then again, other things that you're interested in as well. Also, what he talked about, we're all beer lovers here. He actually, before the show started, he said he had just went to a Vita brewery, and basically said that he's a huge Purple Haze fan, said it's one of his favorite beers ever. So me and Travis were trying to convince him, trying to sell him on Second Line, because we're big Second Line fans. But he said he went to Courtyard Brewery in New Orleans the day before.
Not bad. Did y'all pick up anything from the Comicon?
I did. I was actually looking around in my cave to figure out all the things I bought. I did buy a Jean-Luc Picard Star Trek Next Generation figure. I bought a Funko Behemoth figure, not a Funko Pop. Behemoth from Nightmare Before Christmas. If you don't know who Behemoth is, he's the guy in Nightmare Before Christmas with the hatchet in his head. I won of him, and then I got a little Ralph Wiggum Lego minifigure from The Simpsons.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice.
All right, so I got one thing that I've seen this online before, and it's I'm gonna pull up the website, because the company that makes it is called Umbrella Comics, and I've seen this guy at both Comic-Cons, the Fan Expo and the St. Tammany one. And I was looking at his table, and he had a display case with enamel pins in it. And the pin there was two pins that caught my eye. The first one I saw was, I don't know if any of y'all remember the Toxic Crusaders.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was a big Junkyard fan. He used to use the dog with the backwards hat, and I see that enamel pin of him. I was like, oh shit, this Junkyard, I gotta get this. Well, at the very, very bottom was one of my favorite indie wrestlers, and it's Ace Austin. And I ended up buying that pin, of course, and I was tempted to buy the Junkyard. I was tempted to buy the Junkyard one as well, but they were $10 each, so I was like, I'll pay it. I was waiting to get that one another time. But as I'm buying it, the guy was like, man, you probably got the steal of the show here. It's like, this is a personal favorite of mine, and like, I'm really good friends with Ace, and I'm going to try and get him to come to the Comic-Con in the St. Tammany Comic-Con that's going to be in the fall. It's like, that'd be really cool if he did. So it's one of my favorite wrestlers. That's one of the things I bought there, and what else I bought? I bought this. Yeah, I got this really cool figure. It was by a company that's based out of Lafayette. So like local guys who are making their own action figures, and it's based off their own comic. And I'm trying to remember what the name of it was. It was like, I think, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I'd like to see these.
I'm gonna pull these up. I have it. Yeah, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. And dude, there's like, they probably had about 20 different figures there. But I mean, if you go online, there's like a ton of them. But they're like custom figures of all these unique like animals. It almost reminded me. I don't know if you remember like.
It's kind of like not furries. It's almost like Thundercat-ish.
It's kind of like Thundercats, but you remember like the little figures, battle beasts, where it was like this big, and they had like all different animals. It's kind of like that, but they're just big. They're bigger. These, probably like 6 or 7 inch figures, and they're like highly detailed. I'm trying to pull.
They have an ocelot.
Pulling a picture of right now.
Work asking questions like of all time.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
I mean, it's a bunch of different ones. But I ended up getting a mandrill.
Yeah, Todd was kind of like juggling back and forth, should he get it? And I was kind of like, well, these are some local guys, local guys trying to support their own comic book. The figures are really cool. So, you're looking for something else to get, why not go grab one? So I ended up going back to get one.
We'll have to find one on social and see if we can give a shout out to him, because that's pretty cool that it's a local company doing stuff. Like I've never watched or seen the comic you're talking about from them, but I'll definitely give it a shot. And it looks like it's local.
So how we ended up stumbling upon them, we've had Camden on the show before. before, and Camden's talked about how he's collecting, a group of, he wants to form his own toy village of monkeys and apes and whatnot, make his own Planet of the Apes is what he calls it.
Mm-hmm.
So we see that, and then they've got a bunch of monkey-type figures. And he saw one he really liked, but he was like, it's $30. I'm not going to, I'd rather find something cheaper. So he did. He found a couple of cheaper monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
But Todd was really hooked on, the baboon mandrill one. And then we went back and was like, let's support them. They're a local group. They got a pretty cool looking comic book, pretty cool looking figurines.
Yeah, I go to Lafayette like almost every other week. I might have to see if I can find their address and see how close they are to where I am, and just see if they have like a little showroom or something.
I didn't ask, but I was wondering if they were graduates of that program that's right outside of ULL. Lafayette.
AIE.
Yeah, AIE, which is strictly a video game design school.
Real quick, doesn't our logo designer go to Comicon?
Yes. So he wasn't he doesn't go to the St. Tammany one, but he does always go to Fan Expo. And he's actually shout out to Canvas by Chris, and he did our logo. Always stop by his table. I've actually bought a few things from him before. I know he generally does a lot of the bigger ones. Like I know he usually does ones that are out in like Orlando and stuff like that. And he's
very talented.
Shout out to G. You're the man. Thank you for everything that you do, and
for making me an ugly donkey.
But we might have to be coming back and add Biff to our logo. So just be prepared.
As you can see, the figures look really cool. Because the figures look so cool, and because I bought one, I'm really probably going to end up buying the comic books as well. That was definitely kind of a find at the show. I mean, they were a little bit pricey, but like I said, local art, like a local artist, local company, really cool.
And one of the things I know, these don't get the St. Tammany Comicons don't get the same amount of hype as like the Fan Expos, but in a sense that's a good thing because the crowds are a lot smaller. So anyway.
I'm just saying, like I'm having the sun is like finally getting to my skin, even though I had sunscreen on like all day. I'm like, man, I'm looking really dark today. I don't know why.
You're very tan.
Yeah, can't wait to see how it's going to like buff out in a couple of days.
See, it's coming on.
So I got the Ace Austin pen, the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom figure. I got the Ming Chen autograph. I got a Funko Mystery Mini of Cyclops from X-Men. I think that might have been it.
Anything for the boys?
Camden, of course, got some kind of white ape figure that he found in like some random bin.
I think it was actually from Spawn, because the guy, when I bought it, I had no idea what it was from, but I bought it for him. And then the guy was like, "Hey, I got more Spawn stuff over here." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I don't really know much about Spawn, but I didn't even realize his character was from Spawn."
I was going to say, pardon my ignorance. Spawn is DC, yes?
I think so. But, yeah.
Which we need to finish that top 5 at some point too.
I know he also got, him and Carson both got like a Tumblr. Camden got a Fortnite one, and Carson got one with
Gengar from Pokemon.
Gengar from Pokemon on it.
First thing Carson buys almost right when we walk in the door is one of those big basketball figurines. Back in the day, he's already got a Tim Duncan, but the one he bought was Mike Bibby for the Sacramento Kings.
Mike Bibby, bro.
I think he got a good deal. I think it was only like $4.
How can you say you're a Sac Kings fan? You don't know who Mike Bibby plays for.
That crossover though.
Yeah, I think it was it's a good probably 10-inch figure. I think you got it for like $4.
Wow.
So really good deal. Guy was obviously looking to just get rid of him.
Yep. Yeah, it's like basically see that Nugent Hopkins figure up there that Travis has, the hockey one. That's what it's like.
Wow. I'd imagine the market for Mike Bibby collectibles is probably slowed down a lot over the years and probably not that high right now. So
but like people that are like fans and nostalgic,
I honestly saw some kid that couldn't have even been a teenager barely wearing a Mike Bibby, but it was a modern Sac Kings jersey. And it was like, how the hell does this kid know who Mike Bibby is?
But also though, I mean, kind of going back to that though. I mean, I know you're saying that there's not really a market for Mike Bibby stuff lately, but I mean, a lot of these guys try to rip you off at these Comicons. Mm-hmm. So I mean, when you get a deal like that, it's pretty sweet. Because like I don't even bother with Funko Pops anymore from conventions because you can get it way cheaper on eBay.
I mean, like one that I saw being sold for $400 at Fan Expo, and it's like I have that one at home, and I've looked it up on eBay. It's still worth about 100, 125.
Yeah.
They were selling it for 400 sticker price.
That blast attack is that one of the it's probably the latest Funko Pop I got was the blast attack from Masters of the Universe, and it was I got it for $15 on eBay, and it was like $40 at Comicon. A lot of these guys try to rip you off.
Yeah.
I will say, Patrick being a St. Louis Cardinals fan, there was one guy who actually had two different Mark McGuire bobbleheads, and I was tempted to buy one or the other. But one was 15.
One have a syringe.
One was 15 and one was 20. And I was like, man, if this guy would come down like 5 on him, and I didn't ask him to come down, I didn't haggle with him, but if he would have came down 5, I probably would have bought one of them. But that same guy's had both of these bobbleheads for the past couple of shows. I told Todd, I was like, if it's still there, and one of them's still there next time, I'm probably going to buy it.
Yeah, let me know if I can't make it, and you go back and he's there with it. Yeah, see if you can work them a little off, and I'll just pay you back for it and grab one of them or something like that.
I'll buy both of them.
Unless you want both of them for your collection.
So yeah, I was going to put it in mine, but if he's got 2 of them, so I could buy both of them. And you could
Travis, where would you put it?
Yeah, I find room on it. Look, so eventually I'm gonna make some cuts. Like we got this little. I've got my whole non Guardians Indian shelf with non-Cincinnati Red shelf
Right.
with just random hodgepodge of baseball. That's the one.
So you go in there.
But I would have to. I'm probably gonna have to eventually cut that Yankees bobblehead that I got at the stadium giveaway. Because I don't even really know who the guy is, but
Yeah.
but I would put it up there just because it's free.
It's a very impressive collection.
So yeah, busy weekend in the city. Something else that kind of keeping it local that I know we kind of want to talk about. A few of us went to Faubourg yesterday. It was kind of impromptu, I guess. Well, you guys, Todd Travis, y'all talked about going via text, and I said, hey, if I have time, I'll try to meet up after the Zurich, just depending on what's going on. So it ended up working out for me time wise to pop in. When y'all got there, or there for a little while by the time I finished up at the Zurich, but I hadn't been in a long time, and I just forgot just how beautiful that I call it a campus.
Yeah.
Their property is, because like it looks like you're walking up to like a nice high school, middle school campus.
Yeah.
And what prompted us to go, Heather and I every Wednesday we. Kind of put the kids to bed early, catch up on our shows, have a couple of drinks. And she actually found it as she was scrolling on Facebook or whatnot and ended up finding a message from Faubourg saying that they were officially closing their doors on May 1st.
Yeah, I got an email.
And so they've already stopped production out of that facility a while back, and they were simply there to keep the tap room open, where they have all the beers on tap, and beautiful place. They got their own little restaurant inside.
So why are they closing it? Did they say? Like, is there any news of why? Like, is it not generating money?
I think somebody bought out the whole property. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why Rita Benson would even sell it.
What's the thing like?
Or Gail
what's the thing with the beers getting produced in Alabama or something? That moved or something like that.
They said they moved production, so that big ass building was simply still there for the tap room. And we
so they moved production.
Probably not making enough money to keep just that.
Well, no, like the tap not worth having that whole lot.
Right. Well, and the ladies who was bartending said that they lease or rent that space
for events.
To be there to do all the production and everything. That piece of property they rent that. So maybe the price was getting too high versus what they're trying to cut costs maybe or something like that. I don't know, but I like their beer. I don't love the beer out of there, but all the beers were good.
Yeah, I like their beer.
I just don't. I didn't do my part by going there enough to support them, which sucks. Like now that place is going to be gone, it's going to suck to not be able to go there. Yep. Because again, it's a really, really cool inside the building, and the outside courtyard area is really nice.
And they usually always had shit going on out in the courtyard. Like they would have spacewalks for kids. They would have live music. Cornhole.
We went there for an Oktoberfest thing they had one time. Huh? They had all German beer and
I
stuff.
lost interest in that beer company when they moved from Dixie Beer to Faubourg.
Dixie was dead, so like
Yeah, but it was like a long time, brand that resonates with the
It was a
locals.
staple in New Orleans.
It was a staple, and it was only for principal reasons. Like, and I understand why they ended up doing it at the time, but yeah, I wish they would have
the woke stuff.
Yeah, I just wish they would have
I mean,
found a better resolve.
Faubourg Beer's going away completely or no?
No, just the production at that location, and that location is going away.
Alabama.
I wish they would have promoted their other beers more to get more just general buzz, because they have some really good beers. Like Checks in the Mail is a great beer.
Well, I mean, we've said this on like one of our first pods ever. The Crimson Voodoo was one of my favorites.
Yeah,
raspberry.
That's
that was very
It
good.
was so good, and I would get it all the time when they canned it. And then when they changed the name from Dixie to Faubourg, they stopped producing it. And I wrote several messages, and I think they would respond and be like, "Oh, well, maybe we'll put that in for consideration." It's like, well, fuck, man, it was a good beer. Y'all should reproduce it.
But like, how many people could name more than two of their beers?
Yeah.
I just remember going to the
Black
tap room and
Voodoo.
trying a flight, and I enjoyed every beer, like personally.
And like Mike said, I know Mike's not the only one who's kind of said, they wrote off Faubourg because of the name change and giving into, I guess, what people would consider PC or whatnot. But I still didn't hate on them. I still went, enjoyed their beers. Like I said, the biggest thing is the facility is beautiful. Like I remember like when it first opened, my first time ever going and taking the whole tour of the upstairs and everything, and taking a look at
all the old memorabilia and stuff they have.
That was cool. We
It's like a mini,
I was with
museum.
y'all when we did that.
They actually have like little party rooms where I went in one time and they have like a big screen TV, like almost projector style on the walls with a bunch of tables and chairs.
Right.
Be a great place to have a fantasy football draft, but that'll no longer be there as well.
And so, I remember when I left, I really internally felt bad that I had not been there enough. Like it's far away from where I live, but when I go to my mom's house, it's maybe a 5 to 7 minute drive from my mom's house. So I could have easily gone there a bunch of times. And realistically, even if you live out in say Metairie or Kenner, let's say it's a 20-minute drive. That's not that bad.
No.
I mean, the location's a little rough, but
No, that's the problem. Getting to there is once you get off the interstate, that's a whole issue.
I mean, sometime leaving and having to kind of swerve around people in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're not moving. I gotta go around them.
The quote-unquote surrounding neighborhood, not great.
Yeah.
And it's a pain in the ass to get off that Dowman and loop around and kind of cut the little roads to get up there. That
There's
part
little
sucks.
signs. It's like this way to Faubourg.
On every pole, it's like, keep going. You're almost there.
You're almost there.
Yeah, so that part sucks.
But once
And
you're
the
there,
neighborhood part sucks, but once you get there, you're like, oh, this wasn't a really long drive to get here. That's not a good excuse, and that's an excuse that I've used before for not going there, and shame on me for that. Because I could have and should have done more, and I legit felt bad that damn, I should have come here more often. Because
I don't think that's necessarily why. I think they moved it. I don't think it's because the tap room wasn't doing well in the events. Because every time I went, it was very crowded. People would support.
They probably did okay.
I had food there before. I remember liking the food.
I was kind of surprised because it was Saturday night last night and there was nobody there. We pulled up.
Really?
We pulled up and we're like, is this place still open? There was only one other family out by the. They're going to have. I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday they're going to be having concerts out there just to try to be like their farewell party. They had one family out there by the stage set up there was nobody playing last night, but they had one family out there, and then some trickled in as we got there. But I remember, pulling up yesterday and on a couple of cars being in the lot. I'm like, shit, is this place even open?
Well,
But
when by the time I met up with y'all, it was Todd, Travis, Jessica, and Heather, and a couple that had just kind of come in. That was it. The four of them, the couple,
pretty bad,
and me.
When I went, it was
On a-
crowded.
Now, granted, it was
nobody in the courtyard at all.
no one.
Jeez.
And
Now,
then-
granted, it was the Zurich was going on, Jazz Fest was going on, and Jazz Fest it was still Jazz Fest was still actively playing. So I get people were probably spread
Saturday
out.
night too. So,
But you would think on a
But Saturday night, you would still think it would.
you would think Chris, I think was Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
with the headliner.
Chris Stapleton was last night. So that pulled a lot of people, but you would think
It would still be doing
15, 20 people would want to go to this brewery and just have a drink out in that beautiful courtyard area. Like it's gorgeous.
I was kind of surprised. Our kids didn't want to go with us yesterday, and I was kind of surprised because they had gone with us one other time. And I remember, Carson saying like, "Hey, that's one I wouldn't mind going back to because there's so much space. They could bring footballs and they can throw footballs. There's cornhole set up. There's a bunch of things for the kids to do. But yeah, it's just leaving last night was definitely depressing in a sense, knowing that was the last time I was going to go. That's why when I saw the alert on Facebook that they were closing on Wednesday, like, we have the pub pass, we had to get it stamped in the pub pass. But at the same time, and by the way, we got a full beer with that pub pass. I'm just saying.
Yeah, meal.
But you could throw Port Orleans
They were trying to
in
get
there
rid of
too for that. But they gave us the full pint glass for that.
They were trying to empty the taps.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah, kind of. But going back to like how I was feeling, like when you were talking, when you sent the text out about you were going maybe sometime after. Well, you were going to be done, or maybe done with what we were doing around 4:00, and going later. And like I was dead ass tired from working the Zurich. And I was like, man, I want to go home and just like pass out. Yeah. But then I remember the email or the text and like their social media posts about them closing. I was like, damn, I want to go home and go to sleep, but like I haven't been there in a while, and this will probably be the last time I'm going to go. So I let me just pop in real quick, and then I kind of played it off like, well, I can go see my mom as well. So like, all right, I'll suck it up, get like an energy drink, and go like make the trip, see you guys, catch my mom, and hang out with her for a little bit, and go home. But it was definitely worth the hour and a half of not being there. So I'm glad I went.
Yeah, and I only thought we were just going to go like, hey, because I had a wrestling tournament all day. Todd had some clients, and then went to Carson's wrestling tournament, and it was a long, full day. But then we went. I was like, we're probably only going to go for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then call it. We were there for probably a good 3.5 hours until they kicked us out because they started shutting the lights off on us and basically saying like, hey, if you need to use the bathroom, we're closing the doors. But,
did they open kind of earlier? Well, because I feel like we went there a while ago. It's like time flies. I remember like pictures.
That was during COVID.
Or like the kids being like a picture of like Scarlett and Tori like by the lake, and they were like 4 or 5 years old. I feel like when we went
that
there.
was that time that they went and they said they had a good time.
I remember there was like duck eggs or something in a nest. They were all obsessed with.
So who bought the building? Anybody know?
I don't know. Is it going to be
Probably City Touring.
Is it going to be used for anything, or is it going to end up like Six Flags out east, where it's going to become a big vacant space with graffiti all over it?
Is it going to be Gnarly Brawly South?
Y'all remember when it was the Fuggles warehouse back in the day?
I do. I'm glad they.
So
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody bought it and they're strictly going to use it like for events, like wedding receptions or something like that.
I would.
Speaking of Rougarou Brew,
what?
Todd mentioned the pin of the character from Toxic Crusaders Junkyard. That was Todd actually was thinking about talking to Gianaloni if we ever were going to get that up and running and having the Rougarou almost look similar to Junkyard. So
I think our next Wasted Wagons logo should have a little Rougarou somewhere.
just add it to that when we had Biff.
Roo chasing the wagon.
You can put.
That could be Biff.
You put Josh playing the guitar by the fire with the Rougarous next to him.
Or the Rougarou like attacking Josh, like he's like doing his hippie stuff or whatever. I don't know. But
honestly, my take on Faubourg is I don't think they really, they didn't get a beer that really stayed. Like we're talking about a couple that we remember that we liked, but I feel like I see Paradise Park everywhere now from Urban South, and it's like like I've seen Faubourg here and there around, kind of like everybody's everyday beer, but nobody really goes for it.
Well, that's the one I get at the Pelicans games. When I go to the Pelicans, it's the Faubourg lager that I drink.
Just the basic lager. Yeah, that might be the only one I see in the white cans, but not like, I see people drinking Paradise Park like water now. And it's like, it's
so...
I'll take a Faubourg lager over a Paradise Park any day.
Very overrated.
Duh.
I mean...
Put this in the bank, Todd, for a later top 5 episode. Top 5 favorite local beers.
Ooh, I like that. I like it.
That will be a good one.
It's good.
It's good.
That might be a next weeker.
Let's do it.
Might be a tonighter.
I already got my list.
I
That's
know,
what I spent. I
it's
spent
too,
like
it's too late to alter this one.
30 minutes on this stupid list.
What is the list? This is like my favorite music videos. It's like super fucking hard.
Yeah.
Because
I've done so much work on it.
I've done a lot of work.
But I mean, while we're on the subject of beer and locals and things like that, this little quick segment's going to go by pretty quick because there's not a lot of us drinking tonight. So let's just go ahead and get out the way right now. What is everyone drinking? Michael?
Well, I started off. I'm gonna go with the first thing I was drinking because it's a lot more exciting. So Shiner, another Shiner beer,
I love you.
courtesy of Sean. Thank you very much, Sean. This one is the Hill Country Peach Wheat Seasonal. And again, man, I haven't had a bad Shiner beer. I'm gonna tell
It's
you.
obviously caught on.
And I know we talk about it every week.
So it's not just it's seasonal.
It sounds like a road trip to Shiner, Texas.
I'm
It is.
telling you, man.
We're overdue.
Every
All
beer
overdue.
that I've had from Shiner never disappoints. Amazing beer, good shit. You have something to say?
No, nothing.
So then I finished drinking that one, and courtesy of Biff, he just stepped out the room for a second. Courtesy of Biff, I'm drinking the good old Miller Lite. It's very smooth and refreshing, and
great taste,
I'm
less
enjoying it.
Not very filling because it has no taste.
No, but like,
Hey,
I couldn't bring beer
Bud Light,
today,
come on.
and I appreciate
You're right.
Take a Miller over our Coors about any day too, but
For sure.
still not a favorite though.
For sure.
Yeah, we did go to the Miller Brewery when we were in Milwaukee. Experience.
What was it?
And they do have the highlight, which is it.
So wait,
Cheap
you
beer
would take
for-
Miller over Coors?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't like Coors Light. It's too less filling for me.
Did you see the mountains when you drank it?
I make certain the mountains are blue, and it does not change the fact that I'm drinking water with like an amber tint
That
to
just
it.
means it's
Just
ice
cold-
cold
just
water.
No, I'm just making sure he's drinking it at the
It's
correct
just
temperature.
cold.
Ice water.
Yeah,
Cold as the Rockies.
it's just cold water.
At the correct temperature.
It's colder water.
It's melted snow from the Rockies.
denoted by the manufacturer.
We love you, Miller Coors, but not the Coors Light one.
Miller Brewery in Wisconsin, pretty darn tight.
Mm-hmm.
Good little experience. Yes.
What are you drinking, Travis?
Well, I'm currently drinking H2O
Agua?
because I had a little too many Faubourg beers last night. So I will go ahead and give a shout out to my favorite Faubourg last night, and it was a Czech lager. It actually had a really dark tint to it, which I was kind of surprised by, but it tasted really good, and it was, playing on words, it was called Czech in the Mail. So it was a very tasty beer. Glad I got to experience it. Glad I got to have it one time before Faubourg closed. But I am still a little hungover from that, so I chose to drink water tonight.
I'll go next. I'm drinking a Mocha Legion, which is a barrel-aged Russian Imperial Stout with cocoa and coffee from Community Beer. I got this in Houston when I was there recently. Good beer. It's strong. It's not as dark in color as that True Anomaly beer I had last recording that looked like motor oil. But it is 13.3%, so it is very strong. But this will be the only beer I'm having tonight because I'm fucking dehydrated from being in the sun. So it is water and this one beer only for me.
I thought you had the Affogato last.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's what it was?
That's
Okay,
what the True
okay.
Anomaly beer was.
Oh, okay.
True Anomaly was the brewery.
Yeah.
The Affogato was the beer. Yeah, it was good beer. It looks weird because again, it looked like motor oil coming out, but I mean 16.5%. So yeah. But this beer, this is my first time hearing about this brewery. I don't know where they're from, but this barrel-aged Mocha Legion is incredible.
I mean, I'm also drinking La Agua. Again, as Travis said, I kind of got a little carried away at Faubourg last night, and I woke up a little hungover this morning. Also woke up with my throat. That might be a sign of esophageal cancer. I don't know. But I'm going to kind of piggyback on what Travis said as well. My favorite beer that I had last night was the Hoodoo Voodoo. I think it was kind of it was a mixture of the Dixie, the Faubourg Black and Voodoo, a Velvet Voodoo as they call it now, and it also had, I think it was mixed with a porter if I'm not mistaken, but it was very, very good. I had at least 2 of those, but that also I'm a fan of the Velvet Voodoo, but again, Faubourg, I was a really, really big fan of the Crimson Voodoo that was released under the Dixie name that never seemed to be reproduced. I feel like that was kind of a miss on you guys' part. That was just such a great beer. But love you guys. We're gonna miss you. Sean, what you drinking? Yeah.
Not what I'm currently drinking at the moment, because we mentioned it before, but what I already finished was from the Equal Parts Brewery, the Gorlami, which is an Italian-style Pilsner. It's okay. I don't know what Italian beer is supposed to taste like. It's light. It's not a heavy beer, but I don't know. It's got a unique taste.
Does it taste like it has like some red sauce in it? Red gravy?
You have to hold a can like this when you drink it. You know? But yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad.
Is it al dente?
It's just regular, I guess. You like it creamy or al dente? It's regular, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's another one that I've tried just when Patrick goes over to, Equal Parts in Houston, just giving something else a try. But, I don't know, it's one that I'd want to try a draft on the tap, because I find that it's cold, fresh like that, they usually taste way better than out the can. But, good for me.
And what are you drinking now?
Well, I'm drinking the Space Dust again, good old
the Space Dust.
non-Elysian Fields, New Orleans. No, it's Seattle, Washington's Elysian Space Dust. The 8.2% really hoppy-ass IPA, but there's another one that I can say on draft, I got in the tap, is way better than in the bottle.
You're into IPAs?
Not really, but this is kind of one me and Biff got into. Like, Carrollton Station has it on tap, and when you get it fresh and cold, it's really good. But it's just kind of okay in bottles. I mean, it's heavy. I mean, 8.2%,
For a hoppy beer,
yeah.
Pretty fucking wild.
But I mean, it's a true IPA. There's no gimmicks about it. It doesn't say there's any juice or anything in it, whatever. It's just straight up hop. I mean, there's a freaking piece of hops on the label, like spitting Space Dust at you. So, it's hops out of, out the wazoo. What the fuck?
Biff stepped away to take a phone call. So I'll just speak for him if that's okay. He's also drinking Miller Lite that he provided for Mike as well. So another fancy for the Biffster. This has been his thing the last couple.
He had a Space Dust already.
Yeah, the last couple times we recorded, he's brought Miller Lite. So the Biffster is on a Miller Lite.
I can say
train right now.
2 of these Space Dusts and a Yeti around a campfire on a camping trip did the trick one night.
Speaking of the Miller Lite kick, none of us have really had the Modelo's lately. I remember at one point we were all drinking Modelo's.
I do want to try. You've seen they came out with their ultralight beer. It's called Oro or something.
Yes.
It's a competitor to Mick Ultra and ones like that. I want to try that.
I've had it. It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
It still has enough Modelo kind of flavor to it and taste to you, so you'll recognize it without being like watered down and light.
I mean, I'm a fan of like Corona Premier. I was drinking a ton of those last Sunday at the Crawford's Cook-Off.
I have not been on my Modelo game lately, so I will bring Oros to the next recording.
I even like the Michelob, the golden ones, like that are like even lighter than regular Michelob Ultra.
Mm-hmm.
Those are easy to drink. Doesn't taste like water. There's enough flavor in them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Modelo, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Please,
you didn't sponsor us last time.
Send us a case of Oros so we can try it out.
Please send me a case. My kickball team needs it. The season starts relatively soon. I need a pallet. I'll take a half a pallet, but I need a pallet of Modelo for my kickball team in the season. Thank you very much.
Modelo, love it.
Mm-hmm. Is your buddy still working through those Yingling Hershey's?
No, we have exhausted all those Yingling Hershey's.
You want some more? We still got some.
No, I don't know if they're still good.
You still have some?
Yeah.
When you
get two 12 packs, and again, I like to change my beers up. So I got through the first 12 pack and about halfway through the second, so I probably still have about 6 of them left. But I'm just like,
kind of done with them.
I opened one of mine that was not in the fridge and like took a taste of it and like it didn't taste like it was fresh anymore. So I had to dump about 2 12-packs.
It might be time for me to do the same. We actually still have some Coors Light in the refrigerator outside that have been here from 2 sweater parties ago. So I think there's maybe time to dump those too.
I kind of have that on the list now, but if I find a better one, I'll.
Sean, I see your koozie there.
Yeah.
Where did you get that custom made with your name on it for a Saints koozie?
This is a groomsman gift from Biff's brother Dylan from his wedding last year.
Right.
Got us all, custom made Sir Saint koozies, and I love this thing.
Yeah, it's got the traditional Sir Saint logo on it
instantly. So I got the warped one. I'm the best man. Get the shitty one.
Todd and I actually, our Uncle Sal bought us one of those, that same kind of thing with the zip up Sir Saint. And I don't know, on the shield, I think it says Ice Monkey 1 and Ice Monkey 2. So
but seeing his koozie kind of brought me back to something I know, and we're going to tie in the last bit of like the local flair for this episode, and Faubourg with Miss Benson owning a part of that business. The draft is officially over as of right today. What do you think about? Let's just go with the Saints for right now. How do you feel about the Saints draft overall?
Feel like they hit their needs. I mean, I was dead set on Brock Bowers. I know we've made no secret of that. And I was actually, honestly, once he fell past the Jets, I thought we legitimately had a shot at him, because the Raiders, I just drafted their tight end from last year who played really well in the second round last year. So I was thinking that, okay, well, they're moving forward with him, so they're not going to take...
Meyer guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was like, they're not going to take Bowers, so the Saints will have their opportunity with him. Sure enough, they ended up taking Bowers.
I think they really wanted a quarterback, and they were like, wow, there's no quarterback, so let's take best available. So they took Bowers.
Yeah.
13, I think it was?
Yeah, let's get to the quarterback situation a little bit later after we kind of talk about the Saints draft.
But I had a feeling once Bowers was off the board, and probably even if Bowers was there, the Saints were going to probably go with a tackle just based upon Ramczyk being banged up and just some of the issues they had last year among their offensive line. So I think they played that pick pretty safe. The guy who they drafted seems like he genuinely wants to be here. I think that was very very nice emotional video that he shared when he got drafted. Second round pick, I think we took a really good corner. We had to trade up to get him.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room here, though. Do you think that? Does anybody else think Warren Dunn nailed Kool-Aid McKinstry's mom?
Bruh.
I'm sorry, what?
Let's address
Todd's elephant.
Let's address the elephant in the room here. Does anybody else think Warren Dunn might have been nailing Kool-Aid McKinstry's mom?
I don't see any elephants.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Dude, have you not seen this dude's face? It looks just like Warren
I know what he
Dunn.
looks like. Yeah, I've never thought about him looking like Warren Dunn.
I don't know. That's the first thing I noticed about the
Trying to say
guy.
they all look alike? Is that what you're saying?
So is Kool-Aid his real name?
No.
Yeah,
I said that was
his birthday.
He said that was a nickname given to him by his grandmother because of his smile. But if you looked at the draft video,
He kept breaking down walls.
Not because
He
he
did-
looked like the Kool-Aid man?
he didn't necessarily look happy. Remember how I said
Warren Dunn.
the first?
Oh
Remember how I said our first round pick looked like he was extremely happy to be here, whereas Kool-Aid didn't look happy when he got the call from the Saints. So
no. Well,
I think that's more of he expected to go a little bit higher because he was rated as one of the top 2, 3,
Yeah.
4
Yeah.
DBs.
Yeah.
So he probably wanted to go a bit higher, but
he can't really fault that on anything, just other than the fact that so many offensive players went on day one.
I think only 8 defensive players went on day one. So it was a record day
That you say that? Can you do a split screen?
for the draft.
Holy shit.
he does look like Warren
It's fucking Warren Dunn, dude.
Oh, you know what, Todd? After seeing that photo, yes, he does look like Warren.
That's word right there.
No wonder why he's so good at football.
But yeah, I like the pick.
Did he go to
Forrest?
Baton Rouge Catholic?
He's I watched pretty much all of his games at Bama when he was in college. He's a really good player. I think he will do
Great
well.
pick. I was super
Yeah, I think he'll immediately help us. And he's not just like a depth player. I think he could be a starter for us.
I'm gonna be honest though. When we drafted him, I instantly thought that they were going to try to use Lattimore as trade bait to get back in, because now you have Adebo coming off of a really good year. Then you have, a second round cornerback who really should have been a first rounder, potentially could be starting. I mean, I'm sure he's going to probably come in and be the nickel. We still got Alontae Taylor too, so who knows how they're going to use these guys. And I love Marshawn Lattimore, but my thing once they drafted him, I was like, are they going to try to trade him to get back into the draft? Or are they going to try to trade him for maybe a bigger name wide receiver? I
mean, for all the shit that we give Dennis Allen about being a coach, defensively he still does a good game plan and does a good job. So I trust that he will find a spot to use him in multiple situations where he can be effective. Just to clarify one thing, his real name is JaQuincy. G-A-Quincy.
Or Quincy.
JaQuincy
McKinstry.
JaQuincy.
JaQuincy.
I like Kool-Aid better.
Kool-Aid's way better. I think I don't love the nickname, but if that's the option versus his real
I'll
name,
take Kool-Aid.
Yeah, Kool-Aid.
Look up his parents. Usually when it's like J-A-Quincy, he's probably his dad's probably Quincy and his mom's
His real dad's
Janae or something like that.
His real dad.
If his real name was Warwick.
There was some dude drafted. There was some dude drafted that his name was Jalen, but it was spelled Jay-Lynn. It's like, gee, were his parents Jay and Lynn? Probably. I've never seen Jalen spelled like that before.
Coming to the top.
But even again, I think they nailed those. I'm usually a pretty big critic on the Saints draft, and they never really draft guys that I want. I think they kind of, again, once Bowers is off the board, I feel like they nailed those first two picks. Ended up trading up to get Kool-Aid, so they didn't really have a pick. They passed the third and fourth round, so then you got a bunch of fifth rounders. But to get Spencer Rattler in the fifth round,
that was kind of a steal.
I thought that was a steal. They were talking about Spencer going in the third round. We got him two rounds later. Again, he's had an off and on college career.
That's a tight end.
He's a quarterback. But he's got a phenomenal arm. I mean, the guy's got talent. I think he's
got moxie.
Moxie.
I mean, based upon the veteran backups we signed, I wasn't ready to give up on Hainer, but I mean, I think Rattler kind of instantly jumps the depth chart. I think he kind of passes Hainer. I think he's definitely probably got a leg up on Peterman.
Does that mean Peterman's gone?
I think Peterman is just a camp arm. I really do.
Absolutely.
I think he's just a veteran to teach the young guys stuff, but he won't make the team.
As a whole, I love what the Saints did this draft because they addressed their biggest needs first.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't call Rattler a luxury pick because they need a solid backup.
Yeah.
The quarterback room, I think, is still shaky.
Yeah.
But it's better today than it was Thursday.
We know we're stuck to Derek Carr. He's got 3 years left on his contract. We're definitely probably married to him this year. But now you got a guy who you can potentially see as maybe that guy who ends up replacing him.
So
as much as I thought Hainer showed some good stuff last year, but did we ever really see Hainer as being the guy that replaces Derek Carr?
No.
But with that being said, if we're keeping three quarterbacks, I would like to keep Carr, Rattler, Hainer. I really don't want Peterman in mind.
I want no part of Nathan Peterman anywhere around my team.
When they signed him.
Grayson Allen's hurt.
So, going back through the draft, the fifth round, the Saints took Spencer Rattler, Bub Means, who I'm not gonna sit here and try to bullshit you that I watched a lot of Pitt football. I remember his name because it's not something off the beaten path. It's not very common. So I've seen a few highlights of him on SportsCenter. I'm not gonna bullshit. I know nothing about him other than that.
It was another need though.
It's a need.
We needed another receiver. We grabbed one. Pittsburgh has got a history of having decent receivers. I mean, you have Larry Fitzgerald, Taylor Boyd. You got good players that come out of Pittsburgh.
And they also got
Antonio Bryant,
Jalen Ford, the linebacker from Texas. I've seen enough of him play to realize he's a good player. He will need some coaching up and some improvement, but he's going to be a solid player across the board for us.
Again, another need.
Yeah.
We needed a linebacker somewhere in there.
I would have taken Bookie Watson from Mississippi State.
Okay. Cool.
And then you hit another offensive tackle late in the draft.
Yeah.
The D tackle. We'll see if the D tackle makes the team, but they got some offensive line depth beyond.
That's the main thing. Because when we talked about the draft, what did they need?
Yeah.
They needed an O-line because the Ramczyk injury news is not good.
What I've been hearing though is that they may shift Ramczyk to guard, which would probably help him stay healthier. There's not as much moving around. He'll probably be solid at whatever position you put him at. That's probably going to, because Penning is a first-round pick, probably give him another chance at the tackle spot.
I think they have to.
And now you have Kawhi on the other side.
Not God.
The thing with Penning is you could see a flash or two of the talent, so you know there's something there. You just got to find a way through coaching and him being motivated to get that out of him. But you can't give up on a pick that high this early.
Yeah.
But they also need to address the O-line because of Ramczyk and some other things like that.
He's like an angry little weakling.
Yeah, but so
An angry weakling?
Yeah, an angry little weakling.
I don't know how much you guys follow
He's got that Kyle Turley tenacity. Though.
SEC
He's
football.
just not as good as Todd.
I've seen Spencer Rattler for pretty much all his years in college when he was at Oklahoma, and he is frustrating to say the least. But you see the talent of why he was a number one high school recruit and player. He has the ability. He mentally checks out and makes bad decisions here and there.
There's no jamming.
I'm going to be honest,
But
when I saw the ESPN notification flash across my phone that Spencer Rattler got taken, I wasn't even thinking it was on the Saints.
Right.
I just saw, Rattler got taken because I was thinking he was going to be a third or fourth round pick.
Mhm.
And then when I saw the Saints guy, I was like, holy shit, he fell to us in the fifth round. That's a great deal.
he played some amazing games at South Carolina and won them some games with just sheer talent. But he also, at Oklahoma, when the pressure was a little bit higher and competition was a little bit better, he played small and made a lot of reckless decisions. So
that was before. He was younger.
Yeah. So he was younger. So I give him that. Like they need to continue to coach some of those reckless mistakes out of him. But you could see the talent is there, and
the raw talent.
I don't love him as a player in general, but as a player for the Saints, it makes sense, and I'm excited to hopefully see him work out. He's immediately number 2 on the depth chart for the Saints. He's because Hayner, I'm sorry, I don't love anything about him. He's not a joke, but he's a joke. He was drafted because we need a quarterback, and he was the only one who was available. There's no shot he would ever compete for any starting NFL job for any team, no matter what. Period. He is garbage.
He's no Chase Daniel.
Garbage.
He's not even Chase Daniels' toenail in terms of talent. Hayner is awful. Peterman, not as awful, but very awful as well. So outside of Carr, our quarterback room was dog shit.
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler will walk in and is the number 2 quarterback immediately.
And it's going to make Carr a little hungrier, I think, personally.
It has to, because when Rattler will play a couple preseason games and you watch him throw a deep ball and see how he can play, you're like, hey, Carr, you need to step it up, because this kid may not be as polished as you are, but he can do a lot of things you can't or won't do. Right. The problem is Spencer Rattler makes a lot of mental errors that cost him. But if you can work that out of him a little bit, like Josh Allen, and they're not the same player, but Josh Allen was very reckless coming out of Wyoming into the NFL, and Brian Daboll helped coach a lot of that recklessness out of him. If our OC can work with Rattler and get him to make better decisions, I think he'll be on par with, let's say, a Baker Mayfield. Yeah. Good arm talent, can move around in the pocket and scramble and run and make plays for you. but he will have those one or two plays in the game that he makes a mental fuck up, and you want to choke him. I think that's what Spencer Rattler is. He can low-key compete with Carr for the starting job if Carr has a bad run, but he's going to frustrate you. He's absolutely going to frustrate you.
Would you rather the Saints take Michael Pratt instead?
Who?
Michael Pratt from Tulane.
Pratt had some blunder games personally with Tulane. I don't know. That was
my concern with Pratt would maybe be the arm strength.
Yeah.
If he can throw the ball down the field, like Shaheed would be his only real deep threat target. But I worry about the arm strength throwing down the field to him. But he makes pretty good decisions for the most part. I think I would rather Spencer Rattler than Pratt because I think Spencer Rattler is a better athlete and could probably run and scramble and run around the pocket to buy more time. But Pratt would not be a horrible option. Pratt will come in and take.
I was surprised Pratt went that late. Personally,
who did he go to?
I don't know, but it was late.
Okay.
I just saw the notification on my feed, and I was just like.
But truth be told, if we drafted Pratt, he'd be our number 2 quarterback.
Yeah, same.
Because he's better than Hanger.
Yeah, totally.
And
Packers, we got Pratt.
Packers.
That's solid. And he's not really going to ever start unless there's an injury. But he can learn.
Injuries, so.
But he can learn to be a quarterback, and then maybe go to another team and get a shot. I don't know. But good on Pratt though. He was fine in college. He's not dynamic, but he was fine. He did what he needed to do.
Look, I like both of them. Like I said, I was just shocked that Rattler fell that far, and I think we got a good deal.
Definitely a value pick.
I like Rattler falling to us where he did, as opposed to some of our competitors in the division and what they did in the draft. Because
talking about Atlanta,
that was weird to me. I love Michael Penix as a player. Now, granted, Atlanta getting a black left-handed quarterback
named Michael. All the dogs
maybe brings back some terror stories for that city and their franchise, whatever. But
dogs. A left-handed black quarterback named Michael.
The dogs in Atlanta.
Yeah. And wearing a do-rag. But Atlanta got to
wearing a do-rag.
The problem for Atlanta, and everybody said it, like if you listen to anybody's draft coverage, they love the person and the player and the pick, just not when you sign Kirk Cousins to a 4-year deal with
hurt, man.
I agree.
That's my thing. Like Cousins is not a guaranteed full season player.
I agree.
But
you gave him $100 million.
Money, yeah.
$100 million guaranteed over the course of 4 years. And yes, he's coming off the Achilles, so it's all a problem.
Right.
So if they drafted a quarterback in like say the 3rd, 4th round, no issues with it.
I liked how the GM had to explain to the fucking owner, like, why are you doing this?
And look, it was I think their fan base, and again, no knock on Penix. I know, we had this talk leading up to the draft. If Penix or Bo Nix happened to be available in the 2nd round, we would have had that conversation with the Saints.
Yeah.
We were not expecting that many quarterbacks to go that early in the 1st round.
Right.
But I think I was looking at some of the comments underneath the Michael Penix pick from Atlanta fans. And, they were basically saying, like, we have so many other needs. Why would we do this? And again, that's no knock on Penix. I think we all like Penix around here.
Wasn't Cousins knocking him for that? Saying that they should have been building up the offense around him?
Yeah, and that's why Cousins was upset because, I think they had explained to him based on what I've read that, hey, we might be taking a quarterback. But Cousins found out that they were taking a quarterback when they were on the clock.
Yeah.
So they called the agent and told him, hey, we're taking a quarterback here at number 8. And obviously Cousins was pissed off, and he should be.
Yeah.
If they would have taken, let's say they would have traded some picks to get back at the end, to get back in the 1st round at the very end, after they had taken a player on defense or O-line or whatever to help them win.
I think the general consensus was that they were going to take an edge rusher.
Yeah, that's what they were supposed to do.
They took the quarterback. Everybody was like, "What the hell?"
Atlanta, you're a failure.
Okay.
So look, I think
thank you for being the laughing stock of our division again.
Us as Saints fans were very happy because we
we talked about this leading up. Are the Saints going to be, the number 2 or the number 3 team in this division? And a lot of us were starting to teeter towards that number 3. Saying like, hey, the Falcons are looking pretty scary. But then when you see them make a move like this, you're like, okay, maybe we're still in that number 2 seat.
Yeah, I think a lot of it will depend upon how Cousins comes back and if he's ready to play when the season starts. Because if he's kind of back to being the Kirk Cousins we saw last season, they're going to definitely challenge us for the second, third spot in the division. If he's playing okay, but they have no help. If that plays out, then this draft pick is going to be a horrible decision.
Yep.
Well, it already is a horrible decision. But it's going to make it even worse because they have no help with their offense. They have no pass rush defense right now. So teams should be able to eat them alive, no matter how well Cousins plays. So
y'all know I said it, but I love that right before the pick was made, they pointed out how the Falcons are the lowest in sacks the last 3 seasons combined.
Yeah.
And then it's like Michael Penix. It's like, all right, they all thought they were going to take Dallas Turner. And it was like,
Turner or Latu, right. And then Latu ended up going right after the Saints pick.
And it was funny to me because a lot of the analysts the next day they're like, oh, we've had some time to think about it, and we still don't love the pick of Penix, but we can understand a little bit better what they want to do and trying to do.
Cousins is coming off of an Achilles. Yeah. Changing teams at this age. At his age, he's not ancient. He's like Stafford's age.
Right.
But is he going to really, be all world for the Falcons? Who knows?
And the only real argument for drafting Penix that I heard that I can kind of understand better is that they were saying no defensive player in this draft was like on the Aaron Donald level of like a can't miss prospect or talent that you have to like draft now because he's amazing.
It would have made way more sense if they didn't pay Cousins as much as they did.
Right.
If maybe even just like $100 million with like some like 50, 70, 90 guaranteed.
If they would have waited to the second round and maybe say drafted Bo Nix in the second round, or maybe got up to the end of the first round and drafted Penix, I think people would be a lot more okay with what they did because they would have gotten an edge rusher or someone on defense to help them out.
Well, then wasn't it their second round pick or their second pick overall, whatever, was like some defensive tackle or something?
Yeah.
And I think it said on the screen, it was the guy from LSU, wasn't he from LSU? It may have been them, but it was whoever.
I can't remember his name, but
it was somebody from LSU, and it had on the screen, it said, huge upside. My dad goes, yeah, that's because he sucks right now.
Right.
Of course, if he sucks, he's got huge upside. Good luck drafting that guy.
Yeah. Man, I feel like they did us a favor. They did the whole division a favor by doing that. And now, 3 years from now, maybe it works out for them.
Please, Falcons, please don't take defense and, continue to be the bottom of the barrel in sack.
Please continue to allow Derek Carr to shred you with that mediocre performance he's going to give you. But you have no defense, so we'll take it. Tampa Bay, I don't think did much that really wowed me or made me give pause.
Mostly defense, I thought.
Yeah, which they lost a lot of players on defense, so
that and tackles, I think.
Yeah, they just kind of bolstered their roster to support what they got. I feel better about our chances for competing in the division today than I did when the season ended this past year.
I don't know what y'all were saying before I came back in, so I'll just...
We were just
sense about Cousins and Penix, yeah.
No, we were just ranting about what the Falcons did or didn't do.
Falcons are poo-poo. Falcons, ground patty.
I mean, if it throws that team into turmoil and, Kirk Cousins is pissed about it, that's great.
If I had to choose between
going to
the Falcons or John Cena. I think I would go John Cena.
What about ground patty?
Oh, no. Ground patty, top notch compared to...
Oh, you get the chicken sandwich, though.
Absolutely.
Mike,
grilled chicken sandwich.
Who would you give a bigger FU to right now? Sean Payton or the Falcons?
Sean Payton. That's my vote.
Still go Falcons.
I gotta go Falcons, man.
Nah, I'm Sean Payton.
If Falcons Stadium opened
You know,
a ground
Sean-
patio, would you go to a Falcons game?
But Sean, we've been no lovers to Sean Payton here, but we can't forget what he's done for us. So I'll still take Sean over.
At least if you're in Atlanta, you can get ground patio on a Sunday.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They're open.
No Chick-Fil-A.
Chick-fil-A's pickles don't touch like God intended.
Where's this going?
What? I'm sorry, come again?
Where's this going?
I don't know. And on that bombshell, wagon's out.
Wagon's out.